Okay, so I'll just do names. So we've got Sean over here, and then Paul, Kristen Evers, Clifton, Gail, Fereshteh, and Chris. So I'm going to ask each of them to give you a little bit of intro what they do now, and then I'm going to ask them a little bit about their journey, and then advice to you or to their younger selves as to the skills that they would have wanted or that they're using every day. So, Sean, start us off. Who are you?
So, hello everyone. Let me first start off by thanking the TDSB for inviting us into this space to sit and commune with everyone here and to provide some guidance for the future to the up-and-coming leaders of this new burgeoning green economy. So, my name is Sean Blake. I'm a business representative with Carpenters Union. I am a carpenter, Red Seal carpenter as well, and I'm here today to just work with Pam and with Chris to present this program to the folks that are in the room here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul Trimble. I'm the apprenticeship coordinator liaison for the College of Carpenters and Allied Trades in Toronto. I am a Red Seal carpenter. I've been working in the trade for the past 25 years, and I hope that if any of you are interested in the trade, you'll take the time to come chat with me today and see how we can get you involved.
So my name is Kristen Evers. I work in the sustainability office with our Eco Schools team, like Pam, Jen, and Chris. And my role is a green projects team leader, which doesn't tell you a lot of what I do, but my background is in environment and sustainability and education. I went to school to become a teacher and changed my path along the way. And I do lots of work related to climate action at the TDSB, and I work with our labor partners through our Joint Management Labor Environment Committee. So very happy to be here and excited to hear what everyone has to say.
Hi, my name is Clifton, Donegal. I am an instructor at the College of Carpenters and Allied Trades, and we are basically a training arm for carpenters. And my role here is really to share with you the possibility that each of you, each and every one of you, can become a tradesperson. And that's why we are committed at the college to training for the green economy, and also doing things like timber, mass timber construction. We do all kinds of stuff that will actually give you a career in not only carpentry, but green construction.
Good morning. My name is Gail Bornstein, and I'm really honored to be here, to see all of you here, and to be on this panel, because I'm a landscape architect, and we work on school ground projects as a team. There's a team of us, and key to the team, and I work with them every day, are TDSB carpenters. And I can't say enough about them. A lot of the most wonderful projects are because of their skill. So it's very much an honor to say we work with them. And we work on a variety of projects. As I say, it's very collaborative. We work with many school teams. It's key to how we develop changes to the school ground to make them more sustainable, to provide more trees, to do climate action changes right on school grounds. That's what I do with the board and maintaining this business process in place.
Hi everyone, so I'm honored to be here as well too. So my name is My name is Fereshteh Borozgani, and I am working for TDSB Energy Climate Action. And so we are basically, what we are doing at, so I'm as an energy administrator, so we are looking at the gathering the data, analyzing the data, and then provide the meaningful report out of this, the whole data, and then taking care of the budget for utilities, which is $71 million that each year, so the schools using for the utilities.
Hi, my name is Chris Chandler. I'm one of the vice presidents of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation in Toronto. I also sit on the Toronto and York Region Labour Council Environment Committee, the Ontario Federation of Labour Environment and Green Jobs Committee, and Kristen spoke about a joint management Labour Environment Committee that exists at the TDSB. I was one of the people that helped set up that committee between the Board of Education and the 4 unions that it employs. And that committee works on trying to make the board's operations more sustainable. And what I hope to do today, the reason I'm here, is that I hope to bring the voice of labor and workers, because there's a difference between a green job and a good green job, as would exist on the terms of the worker. There are lots of green jobs in the burgeoning sustainability economy that aren't so good. And there are some that are very good. And so what I hope to help do today is plant a seed in your minds where you all think, yeah, we need a green economy. We need green jobs, but we need good green jobs for workers and for communities and for their families.
Thank you. It's such an honor to have such a diverse skill set that is here. So why don't we go to that next? I'm skipping the question about your journey to get to the job because it would take forever. We know that in fact jobs now, we don't land there right away, and I know that some of them will be in workshops with you so they can share a little bit more of the journey. But let's go to what skills do you find helpful in your work combating climate change? So in terms of what's coming up a lot, and really we're kind of selling it. These are the skills that we have found really needed to make our jobs possible. So Chris, I'm going to start with you.
Sure, thanks, Pam. I would say, first of all, sustainability work requires a high commitment to collaboration and listening and cooperation with multiple stakeholders. And what does that mean, stakeholders, collaboration? It means that anything valuable that happens in sustainability and in ecological work usually involves a lot of different people with a lot of different competing interests. And so it's super important to listen and to respect to all parties that come to the table to do that work, because they all have their own reasonable and good agendas. So for example, when you're doing sustainability work, you're all sustainability advocates, you wouldn't be here if you weren't. Don't question the intentions of the people that are coming to the table that may have different perspectives or ideas. Find out what those intentions are, listen, respect, and work with them. All stakeholders, management, labor, members of the community, especially those voices that have traditionally been left out of these conversations, whether that's FNMI peoples, racialized peoples, the working poor.
Wonderful. We don't have to go in order, but Fereshteh, would you like to go next?
Okay, so I came from a country. I came from the Middle East. Okay, so it's years ago, and I have a passion for human rights and human justice, social justice. When I came to this country, the only thing that I was good at maybe it was math, and then because my country wasn't safe for me, I landed here. So I landed here. What I've done, so I'm good at math, and my passion is human rights, social justice, climate action. So what we are good at, so you can put it towards your passion and work together. So here I am. So I came, even I have a problem with language. So I went to, before, so I was a second year university math student. But when I came here, so I tried to build up what I'm good at. So I went to the college and then I become accounting programming analyst. And now, so by working together, both of them, so right now I'm here as an energy administrator. I put my skills in a good job, and then I have a passion for what I'm doing. So the bottom line is, whatever you are good at, plus what you like to do, both of them works magic.
I love it. Knowing ourselves is such a skill to have because it really wants to work in areas that are not our strengths. All right, so Gail, tell us a little bit about your skills that you developed or that you would talk about to these folks.
Communication, I think, is key in the work that we do. I agree with collaboration, and also my skills as a landscape architect. We go into a school, we're very cognizant of the environment of that school in terms of the physical opportunities, the constraints, and then there's a balancing between the school community needs and how that balances with the environment that we're working in. And each school is unique, each community is unique. It's key to understand both and to try to fulfill the needs of that school community, as well as to enhance the school grounds, which is challenging at times. And I think that the communication that goes back and forth between the school, the staff, the students, occupational therapists, as many people as you can understand their needs, balancing with what you see on the ground. And there's often, opportunities there. There's opportunities to plant trees. There's opportunities to enhance gardens. There's opportunities to improve the facilities that are there. So I think the skills that I bring is listening, we've talked about, communicating, and then balancing, and then bringing it all to fruition in terms of the physical implementation of a plan, which is key. And I think one of the things that I bring is seeing a project through to the very beginning when we hear what the school would like to do, and then see it right through to its completion in implementation or building it out, and then making sure that it works.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, skills that I've learned. I know you can tell from my accent, I was born and raised in Jamaica, and you develop a lot of skills. One of my main skills is we get to learn to recycle, reuse, and all that principle. Not because we wanted to necessarily, but because we had to, right? A plastic container, you use it to take food. So you develop the skill of appreciating the value of stuff. And by doing that, you understand that conservation is critical. So you take that and you build on it. You may never ever get to do exactly what you want to do. It's always great. But if you do what you are doing with commitment and passion, then you will still reap the rewards. And as the rest of the panel mentioned, they mentioned communication, they mentioned commitment, they mentioned all these things. These are skills that you will develop, and networking is one of those critical skills as well. Because what you don't know, you're going to find out, and you get help. None of us can do it alone. So those are some of the skills that I've developed, and I would like to see, the audience develop those as well as you go.
My turn. Okay. So a lot of the words I was thinking about have already been said, but I would reiterate, I think collaboration in my role is really important. One of the big things we're working on right now is our annual climate action report that will be going to board in a few months. Keep your eyes peeled for that. But the climate action report is an annual report that goes to the board of trustees, and it describes all the different actions that the TDSB plans to do over the next year related to climate action. And so because sustainability and climate change and the environment affects all different areas all different sectors, and it affects our buildings and what we teach and our school grounds, and the list goes on, transportation. Because it's so interdisciplinary, we need to, the people that are writing it, like myself and some of our colleagues, have to work with different people, like our landscape architects and our energy analysts and the different individuals in the all sorts of trades within the TDSB to understand what the core issues are and develop solutions collaboratively. So I think collaboration is a big one. Problem solving is another one. Sometimes you have a great idea and you test it out and it doesn't work, and that's okay. But you learn from those experiences and you build on them to make them better. And I think communication, networking, and really kind of leveraging those relationships has helped me in my career, where I've met people and I can tap into somebody like Gail when I have a question about trees or gardens, or I can go to Pam when I have questions about something related to eco-literacy. So get to know people, ask their names, and you'll build good relationships that way.
Okay, perfect. So as a tradesperson, we are constantly learning. We're constantly evolving. The products that we use have changed. The way that we are working with those products continually evolve. And things end there. You have to constantly pursue to be the best that you can be, to do the work that you are doing to the best of your abilities. You know, like it was said earlier, don't be afraid to make mistakes along the way. You know, I'm sure there was lots of mistakes made as we were starting to move towards greener builds. We see that in some of the buildings that just didn't work out exactly as planned. But if we're not trying to better the work that we do, if we're not trying to ensure that we are consuming less energies and producing more efficient buildings, then we wouldn't be where we are now. And hopefully as we move forward, all your young minds will come up with great ideas as to how we can create better buildings and more sustainable products. And we will see change, and in all the reality, it really starts with you.
My skill set that has proved and worked for me is to be fluid like water. That way you fit into any situation that you find yourself in. As the panel has said, communication, networking is key. Coming out of one comfort zone as a young person and moving that comfort zone forward and becoming comfortable in that new comfort zone, which could be just me reaching out to you, Rob. We did that. Pam and Chris spoke to me and asked me if I would consider this. If I was closed-minded, I would shut it off, thereby limiting my progression and my union's progression. So I'm open to all conversation, and if it is that the linear path that we were on has proved to be not working, which is what we're hearing, and we have to transition to a more circular economy, then I need to understand that and find my place in that to help the process along. That's what you guys are doing. That's why you're here. Your teachers brought you here so that you can understand the emerging market that's coming and find your place within that with your skill set that you have, but also be open-minded to developing more skill set. And that's by moving from the comfort zone that you're in, sitting in your chairs right now, having your group of friends that you do to say, you know what, I think I got to talk to Pam. Or I think I got to go and talk to Gail. That's what I'm doing. Right? Okay? All right? So that's all I have for you.
So these folks have lots of stories, and you're going to meet them. Gail and Karen are going to meet them. Gail's landscape architects, and Karen also works with landscapes and greening in the greening workshop. You're going to meet our labor folks, Chris and Clifton and Paul and Sean in this room, Jobs for People in the Planet. And unfortunately, Fereshteh, unless she hangs around for the day, she's got some energy reports that I'm going to be sharing with you because of her great work there and making the TDSB more green. And then Kristen, she has to do the climate report, so I got to send her home. So we have literally 4 minutes for questions that you might have for any of these panelists. And if you don't have any questions, then I might just put the ball out there. Is there anything you'd like to say that we condensed, haven't been able to say that you want to say and get it out there? So questions from the audience?
Okay. I think one thing that when I was young, when I was around your age, I had this idea that I was going to go down this path, and I was certain that I was going to become a classroom teacher, and I went to school, and that's what my parents did, and there were pieces of it that I loved, but I was so afraid for a long time to change my path, even though I was really interested in environmental education. It took me a while to take that plunge, so I would encourage you, if there are things that interest you, don't worry about the potential roadblocks of, in my case, I loved biology, I was not great at chemistry, and I thought that meant I couldn't pursue the environmental sector, which isn't true. So just, follow the path, follow your interests, and opportunities will present themselves. And don't worry if you also don't know what you want to do right now. I didn't quite know, and I've kind of developed my path as I've aged. But you can, at any point in your life, change your direction, and that's fine. Just, do something that interests you, and you'll likely find a good pathway forward.
Jen has a microphone here, so if you have a question, give her a wave. There's a question right in the middle there.
I was wondering, because versus things the carbon footprint and other interpretations of it. I was wondering, because is the carbon, people in more recent times have tried to put the carbon footprint more on the individual rather than the group. And I was wondering, what's your thoughts on that? Because there's a lot of things with fossil fuel industries, they've actually come up with, moving a lot of stuff. The carbon footprint is a new idea. It has been around for a while. So what's your opinion on that?
Chris, take it away.
Oh, wow, I'm really glad you asked that question. I'll pitch this from the labor point of view, from the standpoint of a union executive and a union leader. It is in the interests of the people that own and operate the systems that we all depend on to have you think that your consumer choices and your individual carbon footprint are the problem.
That works for them because it encourages you to think, oh, well, if I buy this detergent rather than that detergent, I'll save the world. Now, I think you're all probably smart enough to see through that agenda. So, of course, it's the case that the responsibility for the ownership and management of our extractive economy does not belong in your hands unless you're a majority shareholder in British Petroleum. So I would counsel you young people to resist that analysis strongly. And the way that you do that is by asking politicians and leaders in the corporate leadership of our world to be responsible for the hyper level of control that they have over these things. So, does it matter what we do individually when we consume? Of course it does. It would be foolish to suggest that in the aggregate our individual actions don't matter. And indeed, you could argue that those corporate forces are only responding to what we want and ask of them in terms of consumption of consumer goods and services. But that does not mean that we should not ask the people that actually have their hands of control on the levers of legislation, of regulation, and the choices they make about how the economy is designed. They must be held accountable. So I would just say very quickly, I would applaud, for example, a trend that we see now of young people across the world doing things like bringing civil action suits against governments and corporations for failing to take into account your own well-being and your right to a sustainable future. We saw the same thing happen before historically with class action suits for things like tobacco and the like. This is a very encouraging development. Keep it up.
That's a very good answer. Thank you.
And thank you for bringing it up. I know business at 23. I'm going to give you the next directions. If you have questions, please come up during this break and talk to these folks. You'll have a chance to talk to them in the workshops, but they are here because they want to talk to you.